Hello friends, May Flom here. This is my creative laboratory. And if you're going, oh May, what the heck is that? What are you up to? Here's what this is. So as a creative person here and someone who does a lot of work in the craft industry, I'm always coming up with, or trying to come up with, new ideas. And believe it or not, you know, when you see people creating, most of the time when you see someone sharing an idea on social media or on their blog or whatever, a lot of the times that they didn't just sit down and make that. A lot of the times, you know, they were testing out different things, figured out what worked, and when they got it all figured out, then they shared it with you. Well, this series of videos is going to show inside my creative process. This is me thinking things out. So I'm wondering if I can get a cool, like, painted card. So I've got a popsicle stick and some acrylic paint. This is the Vicki Boutin paint, but the brand is not relevant for what I'm doing here. So I'm wondering. Well, that's interesting. That's certainly interesting. I don't know that I love it, but I don't know that I don't either. It's kind of cool. Okay, so I kind of like that. That's kind of fun. Just kind of wiggled some paint around on paper, guys. That's all I did. So that was kind of a fun one. The fun thing about this place that I speak of, so I think I'll save that. The fun thing about this space that I am playing in here is we're not judging, and we're not looking for a final product. We're seeing what we like. We're seeing what works. If you have, let's see, if you have a art journal or somewhere that you work, that's great. I have an art journal somewhere in here, and I mean to keep it up to date, but what ends up happening is I find some random paper or a card or something, and that's where I end up experimenting. So now I've got some dye ink and a foam blending tool. This was a different idea that I had. So I end up experimenting, and then if it doesn't work out, here's the thing. If these ideas don't work out, the worst case scenario is I've got a little bit of paper that gets thrown away and there was a little bit of ink or whatever used on it. That's not great, but it's also very much not world ending. You know, there's nothing that's going to ruin my life if this does not work out exactly perfectly as I would have hoped. And that's the point here in the creative laboratory. We're just testing. We're just seeing what happens, what works. What do we have? Textures, tools, what will blend nicely? What will not blend nicely? What will be a great project and what won't? Well, we're not worrying about great project. We're just worrying about, and not even worrying, we're just testing out techniques, ideas, etc., and seeing what comes back. So I've got a little bit of spray I was thinking about flicking onto here. If I had used Distress ink, I could have done some fun water effects, but I did not, so I cannot. And I don't like that color spray on there. So a great thing about this, and in future videos, I really won't introduce this as much or explain as much. We're just going to get going. Is if I don't like something here where we're just playing and experimenting, I just make it go away. And there's a couple ways that I can make it go away. I can make it go away by, what I'm doing right here, excuse my reach, getting a new popsicle stick and some gesso and paint, literally making it go away, or trying to make it look different. I can discover new techniques. In this space, I'm not worrying about, like, I'm not trying to create a project for Instagram or here for YouTube. I'm not looking to add content to my blog, or I'm not on a deadline. This is the space where I come and create and play and test and see what I'm into and what works and how, I don't know, how creativity can be born, I suppose I can say. So now that I kind of like. that I kind of am into, and I kind of think I would like a little green paint. Come on, just a little bit. Oops, I got a little bit, there we go. Well, now I went and flicked paint. Now I'm gonna spend a little time cleaning up here. That's okay. That's okay. So the original thing that I was doing over here is now morphing into, you know, a layer of something over here. And that happens sometimes. And now I'm swirling this popsicle stick, and I kind of like that. Is kind of fun. Okay. Well, that did not go the direction I expected it. But, and this video is longer. Normally I'll try to keep them pretty short. But welcome. And if you have any questions, any requests, anything that you want to see from this creative space, feel free to let me know, because I like to experiment a lot, because this is how I learn. This is how I get inspired. I try really hard not to, you know, obviously not to take other people's creative ideas and call them my own or anything like that. So the best way for me to work is to simply take my supplies in here and test them out, experiment, see what happens. Tune in next week when I will be talking about one method. If you're like, well, May, freeform, that's not my thing, I need a starting point. Tune in next week and we'll talk about that.